the house. Mic check 1 2, it's the Boba Joe crew. Mark Lennon, Johnny Somerson, coming straight to you. Talking classic eras, yeah, we setting the scene. Films, games, tunes, toys, you know what I mean? From the old school vibe, feeling so divine. Boba Joe show, drop the beat so low. Heavy bass lines make your speakers blow. Kicking it classic, from heads to the toe. Yeah, baby, yeah, watch the Boba Joe show. Mortal Kombat, Predator, Scarface in the flow. Miami Vice vibe, MacGyver on the go. Alien screams, NBA Jam all night. Pro wrestling legend, shining never so bright. Macho Man Randy Ric Flair. Yeah. Show, drop the beat so low. Heavy bass lines make your speakers blow. Kicking it classic from head to toe. Yeah, baby, yeah, watch the Boba Joe show. Action figures lined up, ready for the fight. Ninja Turtles power shining ever so bright. Transformers roll out, masters of the universe. Classic memories can't be reversed. Yeah, baby. Boba Joe, that's the flow. Boba Joe, Boba Joe.
Welcome to the Boba Joe Show. Today I'm going to be talking about some biker mice from Mars. Biker mice was an awesome toy line from GALOOB. I'm just saying what the topic is. So you've got biker mice with GALOOB toys, and they had a cool animated show as well. Yeah.
It certainly did. And welcome everybody. Apologies for my late appearance. One of the cats was
I insisted. I wasted Mark's time and I said, now's the time to go and do something, because I created the whole scenario.
So yeah, welcome all. Biker Mice from Mars is here. Kind of a unique time in my life. I remember watching the cartoon, sometimes more so out of habit more than anything else. Like, I wasn't like an avid Biker Mice fan as such, but just because of the time it was on in the evenings, I was home from school, it was on, I would watch it. I did always like the look of the toys, though, I have to say. Just from seeing them in the shop, didn't really have the disposable income at the time just to pick them up, and because I was depending on my parents still to buy me any toys, I didn't want to risk losing out on something else by choosing a Biker Mice toy. So I would admire them from afar, but never actually got a chance to own or play with any of them.
I've still never owned one, and I was going to pick up some loose ones last year, and I almost did, and you can get them fairly cheap, like loose, but a lot of the ones on sale in Australia and eBay, they were quite grimy and dirty, and they don't have any accessories. And I went, I don't want to overpay for junkers, you know. Like, I don't mind paying a reasonable price for a reasonable toy, but when it was junkers, I'm like, I just wanted to get one, really, just to check out the build of it and see what the quality is like. And it's a little taller, but they seem very similar in their construction to a lot of the Kenner toys, like more than other GALOOB stuff.
Speaking of GALOOB, once again, would like to thank Jesse the Epic Badger for giving us some material to examine and study.
Yeah, the catalogs today from his collection.
Very, very grateful to Jess for providing the material. Looking forward to getting a look at some of these classic Biker Mice toys. GALOOB's finest.
We're in for a treat because the GALOOB catalogs are always well presented. It's not unlike other 90s catalogs from companies such as Kenner. And there's some really cool, colourful, nice backdrops and themes in these. And just like the toys are presented real nicely. And before we get into these lovely images, just a quick overview if you randomly don't know who the hell the Biker Mice are. So Biker Mice from Mars had a cartoon that ran from 1993 to 1996 for 65 episodes. The show was a tie-in or promotion of the style of Transformers G.I. Joe for the toy line. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist, basically. Biker Mice was made by Marvel Productions. It shares a producer that, several producers and key behind-the-scenes people that also worked on other Marvel animated shows that we talked about, like Spider-Man and X-Men and stuff like that. So it's kind of similar in tone. The writing style is very different. But as an original property, you can feel that kind of Marvel DNA when you watch the show. It got a sequel show in 2006, which I didn't even know existed. I never saw it. And another toy line as well, like a smaller, not as long-running toy line. So that ran for only 28 episodes from 2006 to 2009. So basically, typical 2-3 year toy cycle. But yeah, I never knew about this other sequel show. I'm in the business of rewatching the entire run of the first show, which I do have saved away on my files and computers and all that. So I'm going to see if I can track down this other show and watch that one as well.
Yeah, so I was aware of the 2006 reboot, but I never actually watched it. I do briefly remember seeing the toys associated with it in the shops. I'm guessing it probably just did not hit, or it wasn't as big a hit, at least as the.
I would say not, just based on that year alone. That was right in the peak of when there was lots of the Toy Biz 6-inch. This is pre-Hasbro. This is like proper Toy Biz Marvel Legends. That sort of stuff was kicking off. There was Spawn and McFarlane was doing gangbusters in import stores and comic shops. So toys were moving to the adult market more than kids. I mean, still Turtle relaunches and stuff like that was selling to kids, but other stuff was pretty much going to the adult market and collectibles and that.
I do actually still have from my childhood, my only piece of Biker Mice merchandise. I actually bought the first issue of the Marvel Comics comic when it was in the shops over here. I just, back in the day, anytime you'd see a issue 1 collector's item, I was like, yoink, gonna buy that. That's gonna do my retirement, or so 9-year-old me thought at the time.
So they also got, in the style of Turtles, a video game from Konami, but it's pretty forgettable. I looked at some, I've never played it, but I looked at some footage of it today, and it's fairly generic. It's like a racing game and a top-down 3/4 view, but it's not like Mario Kart where you're behind. It's more like Rock and Roll Racing or RC Pro-Am and stuff like that, where you're looking down in that almost isometric perspective. And it uses a typical Mode 7 Super Nintendo stuff where you're whizzing around quite fast. And it's a nice-looking game, but I would have much preferred like a beat-em-up game from Konami. I'd be playing that still today if they'd made that instead. So it's a weird choice. I mean, it's not a totally weird choice because obviously they ride bikes, but it would have been much more fun to have a beat-em-up game from Konami than a kind of half-assed racing game.
Yeah, they probably should have went the route of, have it your basic side-scrolling beat-em-up, but then just add a couple of racing levels just to incorporate
like in
bikes.
the Turtles, you get the sewer, kind of surfing sewer levels. Could have just had that basically, but with bikes.
Exactly the type of style I was thinking. It's
just
like we've already mentioned Turtles already like 2 or 3 times. It's impossible not to make the parallels between them,
Yeah, well, they were the chases in the 90s for the Turtle, like the success for the Turtles as a cartoon and toy line were pretty much Street Sharks and Biker Mice were the 2 of the biggest ones that were like, oh, what else can we do that's similar in style to the Turtles, chasing that trend. But they were both good quality toy lines. Biker Mice was a bit of show. Street Sharks looks fine, but it's definitely more, the writing's definitely a younger audience, kind of like 7 to 10 age, whereas Biker Mice is more kind of like, to me, kind of age 10 through 13 sort of audience.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. The Street Sharks show, it was just a little bit, like you said, more for the younger children out there.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That was just like, but when I sit down and try to watch a run of it now, I watch complete runs of all these old shows. I've got a lot of them saved. Some I can sit down, I could watch 5 or 10 Biker Mice easy, whereas Street Sharks, I can handle 2, maybe 3, and then I'm like, I need a break. I need to do something else.
Yeah.
So just showing the scale here, the vintage one on the left. So they list them as kind of 4.5, 5 inch, but they're under 5 inch. They're fairly small. That's why I think of them. They're kind of like a little bit bigger and chunkier than the Kenner stuff, but they're still kind of coming down closer to like Kenner Aliens, Terminator figures like that. And I think they would kind of mix in, not so much the vehicles, but I would happily mix these guys in with shells with other Kenner stuff from the 90s.
I was just thinking that even just looking at this first picture here, you could disperse them among your Kenners and they probably wouldn't look too out of place.
Some of the Kenners might get jealous and go, "Oh, you got better knee joints."
Yeah, you've got articulation.
Yeah. So the other later toy line from the 2000s weirdly went to about 6.5 inches, and that's got to be because of Marvel Legends and McFarlane and Spawn, because the scale makes no sense for that time period. And they would have been more expensive as well to make. And I don't know what scale they were doing. Like episode 1, the Star Wars business. Remember that crowded out toy stores in the late 90s and the 2000s. And a lot of stores just the things that followed that did really badly because stores bought too much of that Star Wars crap. Sorry, some of it was good toys, but there was too much of it, and it basically ruined other toy lines that followed it that just didn't sell because stores went, "Nah, don't want it. It's not selling. Get it out of here."
Yeah. It also it kind of ruined toy pricing, I think, back in the day. Because one thing I'll always remember,
the Star Wars had their main little ones, but they had the giant ones and everything in between. Yeah. It was just too much of everything.
And I remember the little Star Wars 3 3/4. I do remember with the Phantom Menace for the first time in my childhood life. I remember kind of all of a sudden your pocket money, what used to buy you like 2 or 3 Star Wars figures, all of a sudden you could only afford 1 for the same price. And then it was almost like all the other toy companies copied that pricing strategy, because from then on it just felt like, oh, your pocket money may not really go as far anymore if you're looking to buy a couple of figures.
That's kind of one of the defining things between the 90s and the 2000s would probably be episode 1, because it was right in the middle, the end of that decade, that really drove things from being toys to being, now these are collectibles. Because when it came out, stores were like, "Oh, Star Wars, that's going to sell." It's like, no, not if it's an unpopular movie, which still made a lot of money, but compared to the previous trilogy, it was kind of unpopular and had some backlash, and they just overstuffed the shelves. I can remember vivid memories going into shops in Christchurch and seeing, there used to be Kenner Batman over here, and this was where this was, and this, all of a sudden the entire toy section was just gone. Everything was Star Wars. Like we'd have 10 different lines and 10 different brands. Everything was gone. It was all Star Wars. And it's like they just bet everything on black and went, right, we've got $2 million, put it all on this. And they went, no, bust, get out of here.
Yeah. And now you can buy those Phantom Menace toys for pennies on the dollar because too many of them are made.
I think most of them are actually good quality toys, not to like rag on it, because I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I think most of the toys are actually good quality, and if you like collect them, more power to you. But it's just it was just a big problem. It's like Star Wars went away for a long time with the toys, when it came back, they're like, "Oh, we're going to do it big time," and then no, it didn't work out too well.
Like the cast we have here doing their voice.
Yeah, I can count 1, 2, 3 male leads from Beverly Hills 90210. You got Ian Ziering, Brian Austin Green, and Luke Perry.
And Dorian Harewood, I believe he was in like Full Metal Jacket. I believe like he's had a few.
He's in loads of stuff. Here's that best voice.
Roles.
You can tell as soon as you hear the Moto voice, he's like, the deep, gruff, kind of tough sort of dude. And Rob Paulson, of course, was on the Turtles.
Yeah, Luke Perry, never even realized he was part of it. There you go.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's a side character, but Luke Perry has done a few other voice roles too over the years. Like, he's done interesting stuff.
Yeah, the now deceased Luke Perry, he died very young.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? That's sad. I like him. I used to watch 90210 when I was a kid, even though it was more of a kind of girly show. It was, I guess, it had a male audience as well, but it was more of a girly show. But I used to watch. I was just bored on the weekend, turn the TV on, whatever. I watched it, and like Luke Perry and what's his name, Brandon dude. Like I do actually generally enjoy them as actors and other stuff and random movies and TV shows.
You know that Luke Perry had a son called Jack Perry, who's actually a pretty successful professional wrestler.
No, I did not.
He looks like that picture of Luke Perry that you're looking at now. If you can just picture him with long hair and a bit of a goatee, his son is pretty much the spitting image of him.
Wow.
Yeah. He wrestles as Jungle Boy Jack Perry. There's a bit of a Tarzan gimmick, you know, wearing like a loincloth and stuff.
Yeah, that's a very old school gimmick. So before we get on to next coming up is the full catalog stuff from Badger. But I don't have any of the vintage toys, but last year I did pick these ones up. These are not my actual ones. It's just a stock photo of wherever. These are the nacelle ones, and these are like going on 7 inches, like a Super 7 scale. And you got extra heads, some weapons or whatever. They did standard release of the 3 figures, and then they also did the deluxe release of the bicycles as well. And you can buy the bicycles separately, but they're hellishly expensive. If you lived, I don't know, in America or parts of Asia, you could get them for retail. But anywhere I looked at these online for Australia, it was nearly double retail price. So I just went no. Left it for a year, and then they started having big sales on AliExpress. Their half price sale brought it down to actual retail price, and I went, okay, now I'm going to get them. So I bought all 3 from one seller, combined shipping. I don't have the bikes because they were like even way more astronomical prices. I'm talking like Hot Toys kind of prices for a basic figures.
What's the deal? Is that like a hot dog or a taco or something on the bike box?
Which one are you looking at?
On all 3 of the bikes, there's like in the top corner, it looks like a taco or a hot dog. Something in the picture. I can't make out what it says.
It is a hot dog, and I don't know what the context is, if it's from the show or what. Yeah, I would have liked to have gotten the bikes, but if I ever get anything else, it'll be from the vintage line because it's much more affordable to get those than it is to buy these brand new ones.
Nice of Nacelle to kind of change their logo somewhat to match the old Galoob logo.
Yeah, that's cool. Makes me think of the Nintendo logo as well.
Yes, yeah, very similar stylized font.
But yeah, that's just a brief overview of the Biker Mice. They had, you know, the typical toy cartoons to promote the toys. They got a sequel show later on, a sequel toy line as well. But now we're having a proper look at some awesome, beautiful, lovely, luscious catalogs courtesy of Epic Badger. So he's got the actual physical catalog, and he made some like good quality photo scans, whatever, and sent them over so we could enjoy them.
God, I love seeing that chrome straight off the bat. Look at all that.
Yeah, the chrome of your own.
And we're going to, obviously, what you'd expect, you know, in a line featuring bikers, you need some nice chromed out vehicles.
Yeah, for toy line that's got 3 characters rather than 4 like the Turtles, at least they're 3 distinct characters that are different, unlike the Turtles where it's just a palette swap. And you can rightly justify having weird variants and different biker vehicles because they're from Mars and they're all basically cyborgs who have been in a war and had body parts replaced. So there's the cartoon's lighthearted, but there is some grim stuff. Like they've been tortured and captured, and they've all basically been POWs and tortured and experimented on, and that's why dude's got a cyborg arm or a plate in his face and his eye, because those parts were gone from like being in the war and being experimented on.
Yeah, even though I only ever purchased the first issue, I do recall from the comic that the tone, even though it was still you know, ha ha, he, there was a little bit more of that type of darker element of them being from like the war.
It's kind of like 70s Marvel comics, but like, you know, for teenagers rather than adults.
You slamming, jamming bikers for spring.
And micro machines, amazing new mini micro machines, and Biker Mice from Mars vehicles, and who knows what else, other cool stuff. I don't know when those Galaxy Squadrons started, even though we had Badger on here as talked at length. I don't remember what years, because it's not, other than seeing mates who are into Star Wars occasionally being at their house and seeing stuff they had. I don't remember what came out when.
even just right off the bat, for this first like spring '94 kind of layout, I do remember seeing these like in the shops. I remember specifically that bad guy, kind of that fish face guy with the, he can take off his human
Yeah, he's
face
the
and he's
main
got
villain.
yeah. Always thought he was a pretty cool looking figure.
I have to wonder if they copied that from Toxic Crusaders, because again, the main villain is an alien from another planet who disguises himself as an industrialist / gangster who's polluting the planet. Well, and the difference is he was also stealing resources to take back to Mars, whereas in Toxic Crusaders he's just polluting. He's not doing any beneficial things.
I think what's cool about these is, especially if you compare them to like the Turtles lines and even the Street Sharks, these are way more like animation accurate sculpts.
Yeah, they've got great
jobs.
like animation.
They've
like
really done a good job. Really
like,
did a good job.
The Grease dude. I can't remember if it was Grease Pit or Grease whatever he is, but the mechanic-looking Grease guy, he just looks the most cartoony of all of them.
Yeah,
it's almost
really,
like an Earthworm Jim figure.
Yeah, I was thinking that even with the exaggerated chin and everything else.
And you got a crazy evil scientist and little weirdo sidekick, and the bikes look great. They've got like beautiful chrome on there and paint, and
I'd say there was many a disappointed child back in the day who might have been lucky enough to get the figures but not the bikes, or maybe you just got one of the bikes and you had to share it out between the rest of the biker mice and kind of pretend,
I couldn't work out why I never had any, because I must have been, let's see, this was 93, 94, so I'm 13 going on 14, so I must have just kind of aged out a bit. Like, I watched the show, but it never occurred to me to go to the shop and pick up one of the toys, even though they're a really cool toy. And then the next time I was buying toys, it was like Spider-Man or whatever from the comic shop.
I'll tell you, well, like I said earlier, they were in competition for my pocket money with more toys. Everything behind, like these Star Wars Power to Force.
Yeah,
that's what I spent a lot of my money on. Yeah, there was just a lot of competition.
Like, you still had Turtles around, Street Sharks are still around. You had Star Wars stuff. You had, coming up the next year was like Beast Wars was out.
Even from GALOOB itself, like I was probably buying more micro machines. Like there was just so much competition. Batman the animated series had toys out at the same time.
Batman's ran right through the 90s. All those lines, so many. Power Rangers, of course. That was how the dominant toy was.
Big one. Yeah. These are nice little micro sets, I have to say. Very sharp looking. The real world building scale.
Yeah, there's even a truck that's stealing Optimus Prime's colors there.
Yeah, I noticed there. Yeah, a bit of well, we won't say any copyright infringement. They've changed just enough that you can get away with it. The beauty of GALOOB micro machines, you can just mix and match so many things together in that micro scale if you're so inclined and want to really let your imagination run wild.
Yeah, I had a mate in New Zealand. He had a whole bunch of those Star Trek ones, the micro machines, and they released those long ways. I can't remember, it was 3 or 4 in a long pack, and they were like multi-packs that re-released other stuff. You would get like an Enterprise and the DS9 space station and thing on Warbird.
I like the I always loved some of these Power Rangers villains, like King Sphinx there, Goldar, great looking.
They're really cool designs. Like, the toys are fun. I've never been a Power Rangers guy. Even now, I can't stand watching a Power Ranger show. However, if you go to Juranger, the original show in the with Japanese, I have that on the computer, and I've been watching that from the beginning, and it's fantastic. I actually love that show. It's a completely different show than Power Rangers, even though it's the basis of it.
I came very close a couple of years ago to buying some Super 7 Power Rangers villains just because the monster designs were so cool and they're so big and bulky. But
I have that Hasbro one of the bloody I forgot his name now. The jackal looking dude with the wings. I have the Hasbro one of that, which is a really nice figure, but there's almost no paint on it. It looks terribly plain.
Yeah, nice little a few nice micro sets here. The beauty of the micro sets, apart from the price, as a child, like if you're just purely looking at it from a child's point of view and playing with toys,
Yeah.
you get your villain, you get your hero, good guy vehicle, bad guy vehicle. That's your play pattern right there. Everything you need comes in the little set. I can definitely see the appeal, for children to pick these micro sets up. And
Yeah, and
the
the
paint on
sci-fi
them
stuff
is
like the
brilliant.
Star Trek also appealed also to kind of teenagers and adults too, and people into like model making and stuff that like miniatures that are from TV shows and stuff from the cartoons. There's kind of that crossover audience. But yeah, really awesome, good quality stuff. We've got standard bikes, we've got quad bikes here. We've got the biker mice with like cool chrome variants and weird missile packs and look like they could be hanging out with Killer Aliens or something with all those crazy backpacks and all the Jurassic Park stuff.
Yeah.
Biker Knights, that's what they call it, with battle armor.
Biker Knights. New Rangers kick into high gear.
Yeah,
Man, GALOOB had some run for picking up licenses. I know Jesse the Epic Badger has quite the historical knowledge on GALOOB, and I believe, as he's mentioned before in conversation, picking up these licenses did not come cheap. And I'd say there is a decent chunk of the GALOOB budget was spent on trying to acquire the rights to make these toys. But you have to appreciate the effort that they put in to kind of get these lines out. Like, how cool is it?
Different one-off sculpts that you can't always, other than Star Trek and Star Wars, a lot of the stuff you can't really repaint or redo. They're kind of one-off.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of good original sculpting in there.
Like, it's wild seeing 007 James Bond and the Tick on the same page. Like, it just goes to show you how wide ranging
I've never seen those Tick
license acquisition was. Yeah, I don't think I ever saw them in person. I don't recall.
I saw the figures from whoever made them, the full size, but I'd never seen the Tick miniatures.
So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers vehicle and figure collections. I'd say some of these unopened would fetch a pretty penny on the secondary market, I'd imagine.
Yeah, good quality stuff. So here's some close-ups of some of what we've seen just before, these miniature biker mice.
Always impressed with the level of detail on these micro toys, I have to say.
Did they have any die casts in them or not? Or were they just all plastic?
From what I remember, they were all plastic. These ones anyway. Now I could be way wrong about that. Jesse would probably be the man because he'll probably have a few of these to hand, just that he could pick up. I do remember though non-branded micro die-cast cars I used to have as a kid, but I don't think they were actually official micro machines. I think they were like just some random third-party company. The Vinny collection.
It's nice with the posed figure of the scientist. They've given them a little base so they don't just fall over.
Yeah, when you think of how like you're literally something that's literally that size and they've gotten all that paint and sculpt work on it, I think is amazing. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, I forget how small they are. They are like your thumb size, aren't they? They're just tiny.
Oh, they're teeny tiny. Like they really are. So, like, yeah, you didn't probably need a magnifying glass to really appreciate them when you'd have them in hand. That's how small they are. The Moto collection. The big boss himself. That is a crazy looking vehicle, that yellow thing. I'm not even 100%
looks like something
sure.
out of a Japanese 70s robot cartoon.
Yeah, it's wild design there. Tank threads. Like it's weird and wacky. The bikes though still look very nice. Oh, and I forgot just looking at her now because I see her on the bike. They had their version of April O'Neil. They're like the human sidekick, the human liaison with the biker mice from Mars. That's right.
The Motorhead theme.
They need someone to work on these vehicles for them.
Yeah. So you've got like a little garage here, last chance garage. Some weird Spider-Man themed vehicles that look like the deco looks like that Spider-Man Unlimited, or it's just random Spider-Man stuff. I don't know, but it kind of looks like unlimited costume color.
Yeah, and I believe some of these Marvel vehicles were then repackaged into a big set where they had like a mix of like X-Men and Spider-Man related stuff. Jesse, once
idea
again,
what the
he may actually
helicopter
have
is?
that set.
Because I can recognize the
No.
stealth jet from the X-Men, but I don't know what the helicopter thing is.
I can't even guess from the color scheme who
It's
it's
got like
supposed to be
feet on
associated
it.
with.
I just tried to work out it was a
Yeah,
Marvel thing or just another random
I
thing.
won't-
I've got no idea. Yeah, it does say X-Men, so I don't know.
Guess
I
it's
don't
for some
remember.
villain.
I don't remember a helicopter with feet on it from the X-Men.
We've got the Blackbird jet. I'm pretty sure the little car is supposed to be like a Wolverine mobile or something like that.
Right. Ah,
So
maybe
yeah,
the
I have
helicopters
no
are like
idea.
a repaint from one of the other things.
Maybe. But yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher. I'm not too sure which character it's supposed to be
Maybe it's a
associated
Savage
with.
Land helicopter.
Yeah,
Savage
something
dinosaur
just
feet.
daft, you know.
Yeah. So
Oh,
get a
here's
decent
some-
look at
oh
some
my
of the
goodness.
bikes here now on the kind of full splash page in the catalog, and I love the background. It's got that like sort of Miami Vice neon colors going there.
Some of these, you know, I could picture Bebop and Rocksteady riding around
Oh,
on some
yeah.
of these bikes, you know.
That'd be cool.
And you mentioned the Toxic Crusaders earlier, getting total Toxic Crusader vibes off these
Yeah.
vehicles, especially
Yeah,
the
this
one on
show
the first
seems to
page.
be
and it's-
influenced by this, definitely the style, not just the turtles, but also Toxic Crusade.
It's the extreme 90s color schemes as well. Everything just so bright and bold.
Yeah, it takes me right back.
Go
Whenever I
grab
see
your
these
Nerf
colours-
gun.
You know, whenever I see these kind of colors in the toy lines, it takes me back to three things. There's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I was just watching again this week, Generation 2 Transformers, and I guess you'd call, I don't know what you call it, but like G2 G.I. Joe when it was that 90s period where they're wearing all the crazy like disco looking colors and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. They went wild with the colors in the 90s.
The ones
I'm
that
just
at the
I'm
time,
ju-
at the time, people were like, this is rubbish. And now people look back and go, oh, it's actually unique and interesting. It's still kind of fun to collect. But at the time, people were like, this is rubbish. Give us the proper colors.
Yeah. I like this. It's the Throttles Martian monster bike. I like the gimmick of shooting missiles out the tailpipe. It reminds me of
Yeah, it makes me think of
Chuck
like
Norris's
Chuck
bike
Norris.
in Delta.
Yeah, Delta Force. I think I remember it was one or two, but I was watching it again last week, so I thought of that straight away. He's on the dirt bike and it fires the missiles. But yeah, nice, beautiful comic book style artwork in the middle too for the characters.
Very nice, very nice. Once again, the chrome. I wonder, is it hard to find these loose with the chrome still intact? I'd imagine it is.
I imagine they'd be pretty beat up by now. Well played with. Like this would be a great line to come back again, but it won't. I mean, those nacelle ones are kind of a direct market one-off thing, you know. But an actual retail line again would be cool. If they did, I would collect at least one of just about anything they put out, really. So they've got more variations
I
of
wonder, do the
bikes.
do
This
them-
one, the sidecar.
This is wild looking. This is like
It's almost like it's almost not transform, a mask. It's almost like mask. It's like a vehicle,
Yes.
but then bits will transform and pop out open.
So it says here that the super cruiser transforms into a ballistic battle station. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
like
So
Power
your
Muscle
two
Prime.
sidecars will yeah, that's awesome.
It's cool that you can actually put
This would
all
be,
three bike and rice on one crazy bike with two sidecars. It's
And if
like
you could
you
only,
could take that and put skulls and stuff on it and dirty it up and be like a crazy Mad Max vehicle.
This would probably be if you were a shrewd parent who was watching their wallet, you'd probably try and get this for your kid because it meant then you wouldn't have to buy 3 separate bikes for his Biker Mice from
Yeah, and
Mars figures. You
If
know?
you're one of those miser parents, you'd be like, this counts for your Christmas and your birthday.
once again, though, the chrome on those sidecars, beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Just
beautiful.
really beautiful.
It looks like real kind of popey Bandai Super 70s robot colors.
I'm looking there, down at the red bike on the second page. You could probably easily custom that into like Akira's motorbike or something.
Oh,
Like that would be
definitely.
a pretty cool custom.
Yeah, there's so many toys they made since that movie that
Easily
were clearly
style.
influenced by the design of their bike. But yeah, I really like.
I
I really
appreciate
like
the
this one.
articulation. Yeah, really nice. Really, really nice toy.
So this one, we got the old pull cord bike where he's got like a little ramp thing, and you got the what's that one? Was it Drag Store that was in Motor? A lot of toys had this gimmick in the 80s where it's got the little spike cog teeth, and you pull it and it revs it up, and usually they'd go flying off so fast they would smash into a wall and go bang and bounce around because they'd go so fast.
And they also do the thing where, don't be fooled by that figure, folks. You cannot remove him. He is he is attached to that bike. You're never getting him off that bike.
It looks great. It looks great though.
We've seen it now. It does look great. It does look great.
We've seen everybody.
We've seen it before, though.
We've seen it with Batman and Darth Vader, all those pre-posed bikes, either official or bootlegs. Like there was heaps. They still make them now, but there was heaps of these through the 90s. These like any character just on a bike.
Could be another winner for your parents. So instead of buying your throttle on his bike, you just buy him glued to the bike, and get this. You get the little gimmick then of letting them just launch off.
It looks a bit oversized.
Glow in the dark wheels. Back wheel is glow in the dark. It says here.
Oh, it looks almost like Ghost Rider bike doing that, man. That's cool.
And it can travel over 20 feet, apparently. Power cord launches the high-speed bike.
Yeah, the throttles blazing cycle. There you go. Even the Ghost Rider inspired name, Blazing. You got a playset, Dr. Carbuncle's transporter and secret lab. It looks like the Danger Mouse post box. So it looks like
figures magically appear and disappear. I'm assuming they do the old switcheroo gimmick where
rotate around
it when you close. Yeah.
It's got to be like Arrested Development, like Job, and he stuffs it up.
Looks like it comes with the one. Kind of that green figure must come with us, just so you get something with us when you buy it.
Yeah, minifigure, and it's got crazy little pointy knife things coming out of it.
Showing my lack of knowledge here from the show, I'm assuming the robotic-looking dude coming out of that is like their army builder, trooper,
I think so.
Type of figure. Don't even know.
Definitely like the most hired goon, robot, cyborg, foot ninja, or what's it in the Toxic Crusaders? That Radiation Ranger. He's looked pretty similar.
Radiation Rangers, yeah. He's one of Carbuncle's evil creations, and he's just going to make a ton of them and clone them. He's coming out of the Danhausen cloning machine here.
yeah, I saw that the other day. They've done it in the wrong order on the wrestling because they did many Danhausens coming out of WrestleMania. Then the following week they did the cloning machine. They should have done it in reverse, the other way around.
Aren't thinking ahead.
So I wonder if Goji will approve of these ones. We've got some Super Bendables, which are actually they're not Stretch Armstrong inspired. They're the other ones with the wire where you bend it and then it stays in the position. They're like Vogue, like Madonna.
But we got a bit of maybe unintentional honesty here because did you notice, like, so when you see them separately, they're quite well painted, but look at how they look in the box.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just the prototype type thing, because they seem to be missing a lot of detail. Like his harness isn't painted, whereas the figure is. I wonder if the final version got the paint on the harness.
So going by this, you could either buy them separately or you could buy the gift pack. So maybe the gift pack has less paint because it's like 3 in the box or whatever. Maybe there was a little bit of budgetary cost cutting possibly going on there with the paints.
You ever had much in the way of bendy toys over the years? I mean, they do them virtually everything. You know, the ones with the wire, because
Yeah.
you bend them, and then after a year or two, it always snaps, and then it's stuffed.
Yes.
and then eventually the rubber wears out and it starts flaking everywhere.
I
But they're
had
fun
a
for a
few,
little bit.
so I had a lot of the Muppets characters I had
Yeah.
bendables of. I remember sometime in the early
I know
90s
I
they released
definitely had
them.
a
I
bunch of
also
different bendable toys, but I can't remember a single one of them. I just know I can remember I can remember the tactile thing of actually bending different things, but I don't know what they were. I don't remember any of them actually had.
had some WWF Bandams.
Yeah.
They had bandies randomly enough. I still have a Mankind on the card from the WWF Bandy series. It's a strange gimmick depending on the toy line you're kind of trying to do it with. Like sometimes it
Yeah.
works, sometimes it doesn't.
And sometimes it's like you've got your main core toy, and then there's all the superfluous stuff around it, which is like it might aim slightly younger or older in the demographic, or it can be by store, and whether it's going to be a rack toy like Goji talks about. Is it going to be a rack toy? Is it going to sell in a particular venue away from the stock of the other thing, so it's like a cheaper impulse purchase, you know?
Biker Mice from Mars scoreboard hideout.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean by scoreboard. I always got a basketball hoop up there, but then you've got a weight bench underneath it. How does that work? It's like, that doesn't seem safe.
On the flip side, you've got the actual score, because they live near like a football field or something. On the show,
right, yeah, you're right. That's what the theme is. I can see in the bottom left image it shows the other side of it. So it seems it's got a few moving around bits. It's a cool looking set, but at the same time, it's quite basic. So I don't know if it just for it. So I assume it must kind of fold up a bit to be more compact when it goes in the box or whatever.
Hair play for making the Garl character not overly Garly. At least didn't give her like pink bike or something stupid like that. Like, you know, they didn't.
She's definitely the tomboy character in the show, but they still give her the long, luxurious lady hair and all that. Like it just steps out of the salon, you know.
Yeah, freshly blow dried.
I think that's a decent set overall. Like, but I feel like it's like half a Castle Grayskull. I feel kind of like where's the other half of it, you know?
Yeah, where's the back and the sides kind of deal.
Yeah.
One thing I probably should have mentioned it earlier. I do like the fact that on the standard figures they all have removable helmets. It's a really nice touch.
Yeah, that's good.
More
playability. If I could get one of each of the three main characters and a bike and the helmet, I'd be of the vintage ones, I'd be pretty happy, like for a fair price sort of thing. But there's so many beat up junkers that are well played with and scratched and missing. It'd be great to have someone reasonable condition loose. I'd be pretty happy with. So speaking of other other merch, miscellaneous merch, we've got the motorized laptop, which is not a computer. It's kind of like a miniature. It's like a Micro Machines version of like a slot car set, but it's just on a fixed track. Like obviously, they stay on there. It's just a button you press it. I don't think they can come flying off like regular slot cars do, which might make it more enjoyable if they actually stay on there.
Yeah, you can race your friend. You can both be sitting on the living room floor. He hits blue, you hit red. Who's going to get to the finish line first?
And
it's actually a nice
badger question. Is this a repurpose of something else they've already made? I wonder.
Yeah, and I wonder, was there like another Micro City set that they've just, you know,
did they redo this as a pod racer in Star Wars? Perhaps it's just like it's not a bad looking toy, but like I feel like I'd be bored in 5 minutes even as a kid with this.
Yeah, requires 2C batteries.
That's reasonable. It's only 2 little batteries.
It includes 3 different vehicles: Vinny, Throttle, and Grease Pit. So you got all 3 bikers.
Oh, so you must be able to take them off then, put them on, because there's only 2 tracks.
Yes. I wonder, maybe there's a little compartment or something you can put your spare figure in when you're not using them.
Yeah, it says on the thing that you can store the parts away, so I guess maybe it folds in half or something like that. But it's not a bad looking set. Like, I would probably rather look at it than play with it. Even as a kid, I'd be like, this looks cool. Can go over there. It's like a little model diorama or something. So we've got one of these. I don't know. I forget what you call these things. You still get these in like Kmart now. It's like a video game that's not a video game because it's just on a physical rolling thing that rolls around in a loop, and then you steer your thing on it. Yeah. So these have been around since, I want to say, since like early 80s, if not late 70s. I think they first had these.
Comes with its own vehicle storage compartment, so you won't lose your little micro bike.
Yeah, well, the cool thing on this one is at least you've got an actual physical biker mice on the track, whereas a lot of these things you're looking at what looks like a fake TV screen or video game screen, but it's not electronic. It's just a static picture, and then the thing moves back and forth with the steering wheel.
In this particular one, I'm not sure if they always work this gimmick, but it says here that it's specially magnetic. So
yeah,
that must
cool.
be
like
your little steering is going to move it side to side on the screen. It's pretty cool.
It's definitely a very nice looking piece that would go lovely on the shelf if you had a proper collection of biker mice. This seems like a decent thing to add to the collection.
I wonder, is it as fully painted up and everything when you get it in hand, or is this just a very well done prototype? Because the way with some of them you get it, the game itself would literally be monotone colored, like it would just be like black and white. So they might have upped the ante a bit here to compete, because this is like 94, 95. Don't forget, folks, like this is the PlayStation era. It's
yeah. Well, they still you can still literally get stuff like this now, but it's usually fairly cheap if you go to like Kmart and Target. So we've got some wrestling buddies, but it's biker mice version of them, and we've got an actual kid on it. Got a small kid on a real bike, which looks gigantic because he's a little kid.
And an expertly placed biker mice plushie there, so you don't see the brand of the motor bike, which is no doubt copyrighted. I don't know whether it's a Harley or what it is, but they don't want you to know what it is.
Something of that style, like Harley or Triumph or whatever. I do like that they dress the kid like the main character, which is cool.
Yeah, I wonder, was there a lot of like biker dads back in the day who tried to get their kids into biker mice from Mars as a way to kind of gateway them into their own hobby? You know?
It's like, one day, kid, biker mice, then it'll be like running guns, like on Sons of Anarchy.
I love the way
these are pretty decent, I think. It's clearly stealing the idea of the wrestling buddies, which lots of other toy lines did this too. But it's definitely those exact proportions, just like put a biker mice head on instead of a wrestler head.
Yeah, they're really big. When you see them up against that bike, they're quite big, aren't they? Like they're a decent size. Oh, 20 inches tall, it says. That is big.
Yeah, I think they're pretty cool. Like, they look great.
They are pretty cool. And it says, squeeze them, pound them, and tackle them on the ground. They just want you to abuse them. It's like, here's your favorite character, son. Now go and beat the shit out of him for your amusement.
Yeah, there's my favorite character.
There we go.
He'd be like probably slightly taller than him.
I love his grumpy face. It always it always brings us like, seeing his grumpy face.
Tip to elbow, he's a bit longer than that.
Yeah, you big boy. Raffle. He's grumpy. I like his hands too.
And we got some generic laser guns. Laser pistol, I should
say.
Sorry.
This is the type of shit you can still find in the pound shop with just random graphics stenciled on the side of it.
Stuff you can take home and in 2 seconds you can smash it with the hammer and say, why did I buy this garbage?
And like, these are kind of fairly plain. I'm just reading the description here. I thought it might have been an actual laser tag game or something, but it just seems to be
generic. It's like, here's your Buck Rogers blaster, but we've label slapped them. Biker mice on the side.
Yeah. And we all know
on the bottom looks like the Cylon ship yet again. I mean, sorry, the Colonial Viper, not the Cylon ship, but the front of it, look, it's got that square front. Or it could be a Decepticon, like that canopy on a Starscream.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Like these are, you can't get any more generic than these designs here.
They're fun for 5 minutes, I guess, and they make
Like,
those annoying, like beep beep beep, annoying sounds.
yeah,
They all make those same annoying sounds that drive parents mental. And they're like, "Go play outside, kids! Don't play these
yeah.
inside the house."
Get the hell out of the house now.
I
At
guess they were
least on the
like the
top one, you
'90s
do have
equivalent
nice
of cap
artwork.
guns,
Yeah,
because everything had to from the
it's
'80s
true
forward. Everything
though.
had to have
Everybody knows
electronics
the
and
sound.
gimmicks and noises. Before that, it was all the cap guns and the psh, psh, psh.
Give me my cap guns any day.
So the old
What the hell is
put a
this?
felt on the wall and throw the ball with the Velcro and get the points like it's darts. I've seen lots of other things like this, and they're never fun. And unless you get a really giant size version, and I won't mention about the terrible things they used to do with human beings in pubs that involve this same technology. So the non-human version, if you get like really giant size things and throw things like basketball size, is kind of fun. But when it's this small, it's just like anytime we play the crap like this, you end up just like throwing it at each other because you get bored. You
Yeah.
just sit there throwing to it. It's like it'll stick to your shirt and all that, and you're like throw it at your mates.
This is the type of thing that probably could have done with an electronic gimmick so that when you hit a particular score, it would make a sound or something. But as it is, you throw it, it sticks. Yay! I got the home run. Yay!
It's more fun just throwing it at your mate's head and he tries to duck behind the couch and pops up and you whack him. Because it's only soft plastic, they're usually not too hard. And then probably the biggest load of crap in this entire catalogue is this, like every bloody toy thing's done. There's just an inflatable bot bag, like a stupid inflatable bag, and you can whack it and it pops up and whatever. I guess it's fun for young kids, something to roughhouse around with if you haven't got a brother or sister to like body slam in the afternoon.
Something that will just take one wrong hit and explode. Probably.
Yep, just get a little like air hole pinhole in it and just be useless next week. Does have very nice artwork on it.
You got the young, 8 or 9-year-old that he's bopping away at it, and then all of a sudden the older 13 or 14-year-old brother comes in, hits it one good punch, and it just blows it up. Instantly ruins it. Instantly.
It's fun for young kids, but like it's just no company ever made a good quality version that lasted. They all just broke.
Here we go now.
Yeah, this is like the core figures and their main decos rather than all the variants and that they've done.
Once again, beautiful sculpts on these, I have to say.
I like the dude down the bottom right. He reminds me of like Lord Raptor from like the Night Warriors Darkstalkers games.
Yeah. Evil Eye, it says there.
It's a Necronomicon.
Yeah, major, like if you were to just kind of ignore the 3 biker mice and just look solely at the other characters, it's so Turtles mixed with Toxic Crusaders. Like it's just all those vibes rolled into one.
Yeah, I like they keep a nice comic book aesthetic too, to the overall look and like the style and colours in it.
Just not, and like not that I complained about it, but it was kind of a thing back in the day when your Turtles didn't really look like the cartoon ones, or your Thundercats didn't really.
Yeah, it was the same with He-Man because they made the figures first and then animation later.
But yeah, I love the look of these. I have to say, just really, really well sculpted, well painted, just really pop. I'd say having a shelf full of these with the vehicles would just look amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, chuck in if you have these bikes for each of them, chuck in the play set and that other chamber mailbox looking thing. That would go together real nice on the shelf. And then there's still lots of variants and just like bloody, Snow Batman and all the variants and sports turtles. There's all the variants, which most of them are pretty cool. But this is like the core collection. You got these 9 figures and then a couple, bikes and accessories.
Of course, as we're looking at this stuff, like it has to be remembered, like Playmates are still banging out the Turtles at the exact same time. We're well into the Turtles line, so you're still competing.
Going. Earthworm Jim was in there for a bit.
Yeah, these bike designs, man, are just beautiful. Really, really top notch.
Yeah, I think I had some of the better
Bikes
vehicles.
themselves are like extra
Vehicles
characters.
Yeah, like that to me, they're a cut above the like Turtles vehicles, which a lot of them feel very generic, other than the main like Newton module and the van. All the other stuff they did in the bloody like a cannon that fires slime and whatever. Some of them are all half baked, whereas these look like genuinely good vehicles on their own, good paint, decos. Looks like an actual bike, but with cool other bits on it. You got the chrome. And depending on the scale and size, what you could get on, you could mix them with other toy lines, use some other figures on there potentially. Yeah, we've seen that one, because I don't know why that page repeats.
Biker Mice from Mars Radical Rider set. So yeah, these are the ones now. These are where you would really strike gold if you were a lucky young child, if you got the set that actually came with the figure and the bike, because then you've got your whole deal there in one.
Secret pop-up guns, adjustable battle suspension. So that's something that meant like more deluxe bikes.
Still working in the chrome there as well. Yeah, these are just.
You've got the equivalent of sports turtles. Have got sports biker mice. However, because they lived in that like sports stadium, it actually makes sense.
Does make sense, and they're
like they're casual attire where they're not on the mission.
Yeah, they're a lot less offensive than the sports turtles. Like they don't look near as goofy as the sports turtles. They actually look like apart from maybe the middle guy with his 77. Like I don't know if you'd even obviously think that they were supposed to be sports themed.
Yeah, this looks like a dude wearing his singlet or shirt of his favorite team or whatever.
Yeah,
showing off his mad biceps.
Biker Mice from Mars. I need to get my eyesight checked because I thought it said sports bras, but it actually says sports bras.
Yeah, it's I can't read it properly. It's blurry because the resolution's like blown up like this. It's not if you look at the original file, you can make it nice and big and see, but when it goes in the camera, it kind of compresses it a bit, so you can't quite see the text very well. So we've got a nonsense like hang glider with a figure that hangs underneath it. I don't know why you'd want that, because you're just going to throw it into a river, or they're stuck in a tree or on the roof at the moment you do it. Whole bunch of variants. This is kind of like the G2 G.I. Joe thing. You got all the camo patterns with like crazy colors.
Bikes, once again, man, they were getting their money's worth out of these bike molds. Bikes look cool.
I like them though. I generally like all those variants and colors. Yeah. They're fun. I feel like the blue one, at the bottom, the middle, Vinny's, that's like the Sequest DSV deco on the bottom.
Yes, yeah, and even the first bike there, the big monster chopper bike, like it looks class in the black camo, the black and grey camo, and it still has its chrome. Hang glider, you know, that's something that just gets lost very quickly or gets wrecked. Got stuck up a tree, you know, tried to send the cat up to get it down. The cat gets stuck up the tree.
Yeah, it's stuck. We set the dog ate the cat and the kite.
The facial expression on the young child in the picture is priceless.
This is where they lie to you in catalogs and ads. They're always having so much fun in the ad, and you need to get it, and you're like, Dad, I'm not having the fun like the thing on the ad, and he doesn't care. He's off in the shed. He doesn't give a shit what you do.
Yeah, don't fly that inside the house, kids.
Like
your mother will.
That kid's be having that much fun with that kite. They've given him some fucking cocaine or something and rubbed it on the toy before they go.
Oh, definitely, yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's got.
He's on LSD and cocaine.
He's taking some, yeah. Something's enhancing his experience, you know. Muscle Mouse ray gun. I was just reading the small print there as well.
Yeah, got the old
really
clamp
with fighter
hook gimmick on the dude in the middle. It looks like a more deluxe version of the villain guy because he's got the big bulbous head now with like removable face.
And he's looking a bit more military as well. Real military themed, all this.
Yeah, I like that they're different too. Like the gimmicks and accessories are actually different. They're not just repaint variants. There's actually stuff to make them, genuinely different releases, make you kind of want them. Oh, and they've got the gigantic biker mice. I'm not sure exactly the scale. I can't. No, 12-inch. At a guess, I would have said that, but that's usually the standard. Your GI Joe Action Man, 12-inch size. Like Toolbiz did that too. They used to do the 12-inch Spider-Man. Actually, they did Spider-Man. Not an official Action Man, but in the 90s, they did Spider-Man coming with stupid outfits where it was mimicking the 12-inch Action Man relaunch from the 90s.
These big ones, you can kind of see they don't have the articulation joints in the arms and knees.
They're beautiful though. You get even more animation lightness, less cuts in the sculpt. So these would be like great to display and have now. And the tails.
Imagine they made giant bikes.
Yeah.
Imagine there was a giant bike. Yeah, that would be crazy.
I could see these guys, Biker man. If you do like a Marvel team up, Biker Mice and Ghost Rider, I'd read that.
Yeah. Wonder who that human character is supposed to be. The little small guy there.
Let's see. Biker Mice from blah, blah, blah. Rough and Ready Trucker. Well, there you go. He's a trucker.
Interesting.
With retro action hammer drill.
He's there to get stomped. He's going to get stomped on by these giant mega mice.
Yeah, it's kind of like we didn't know where else to put him in the catalog and then he gets shoved at the back.
He'll be taking on these like giant kaiju mice,
Yeah, I do love a nice giant size figure where it's 12-inch or me neck of 18-inch. One's bloody hiding up in the corner here.
Yeah, if you can find the space for them, they're beauties.
Yeah,
it would be nice to have the three of these big guys together.
Oversized figure. But we've gone to the end of the catalog already. So if you want to see any again, tell me. I'll go back to that page. I like the chrome stuff, man. I don't know what's about the chrome, but it's probably the Dinobots as a kid. That's what just made me go, oh, I love that chrome. and die cars and bikes. My dad used to have around so chrome there.
Your dad probably collected that type of stuff as well, did he?
Yeah. He's always had like die-cast cars, like bloody Ferrari F40 or a Lamborghini or something, and bikes, and a lot of them had chrome. So I'd always seen this kind of stuff as a kid, chrome stuff. And of course, he had model paints as well. So if you want to paint your own looking, silvery looking thing.
He really copied though that Playmates playbook of we've done our standard kind of set of characters as they appear on screen. Now let's see how much fucking gimmicks we can get out of these. Let's just. But to be fair,
I think,
like I said,
because it ran for like
ones,
2 or 3 years, there's not as many as the Turtles went on. Turtles went on so long, and so there's so many ridiculous ones. Even the sculptors said on some of those interviews, they kind of run out of ideas. They just start doing sketches and just anything.
They do look nice though. Like I wouldn't be overly disappointed, I think, as a kid of getting one of the variations if I couldn't get my hands on, the
I haven't seen a bad one in this catalog. There's nothing I've looked at and gone, oh, that's ugly or weird. I think they all actually look good.
There's just a real aesthetic charm to them, and it's a lot to do with the time they were released. Like we were saying earlier, at the time you might have looked at them maybe and thought they were a bit gaudy, but now that we've gotten older and you can kind of appreciate the effort that went into designing them.
I think the style suits them better as well. They're humanoid, but they're mice with different heads, so it's not as doesn't make me jump back. Like when I see a Batman, I'm like, well, why is he gold? Batman's not gold. It's not very stealthy like a ninja.
But no, it's an impressive line, and funnily enough, just by pure coincidence, a couple of friends of mine who live together, the younger of the two, Sparky, he actually has a lot of the 2006 line because he's a little bit younger than us, and he actually kind of was growing up at the time the relaunch was on TV. So when you go to their house, in his like main display cabinet, he has the 3 biker mice and their 3 bikes from the 2006 show, and they actually look very similar to the the 90s show. Like they didn't really change much. Kind of like the way the that 2002 Turtles show, like it changed the look of some things, but it still looked kind of 90s aesthetic almost. So but yeah, that was some top-notch stuff there. And really, like, once again, Jesse, big thanks, because it takes a bit of time to get these scans done and sent over. And Jesse is like the GALOOB kind of mastermind. He knows their products in and out.
Makes him sound like a villain on Doctor Who, like the master, the master of the GALOOB catalog.
The global GALOOB force.
He was in the GALOOB wars.
I would be curious though if for any of our listeners or watchers, because I do know that we kind of tend to skew a little bit older maybe in our audience. I wonder if any of our listeners or watchers were of the age to kind of get into biker mice, or were they kind of seeing these toys in the shops and just thinking, well, that's just a Turtles ripoff, I don't care about that? Or did you see them and think, no, these are pretty cool, or the bikes look pretty cool, or the designs are very unique? I would be curious to know what people's thoughts were on the line at the time. Or maybe you never even knew what biker mice was, and you're kind of only finding out about it now and thinking, you know what, that looks okay. It looks pretty fun.
I mainly saw the show because it was on Saturday mornings, and that's where it started. And so when it started, I wasn't even aware there was a toy line. I was just like, oh, it's another cool show to watch. And eventually it went to like weekdays and that.
It was probably coming into existence at a tough time in the sense that people closer to our age, like I don't know about you, but at the time I was watching a lot of the Marvel 90s shows, Spider-Man, X-Men, even the Batman animated series, if you want to go to DC. And because they were taking on a more kind of adult, or at least young adult tone, maybe biker mice was still more so in the kid zone, where Turtles.
Yeah, you got people aging out of toys and shows aimed at a particular demographic. And then you've got a changing of the industry of like comic books in the 90s. We're trying to go for an older audience. And then the collector market for figures shifted away from children into what we have today, which was like the beginning of that.
But yeah, they're still a popular brand, obviously. Otherwise, Nacelle would have never bothered producing those remakes. So
I might have just purchased what we're looking at on the screen right now. just now as you were talking, because I just randomly had to Google, and there was actually a good deal, the best deal I've seen in probably over 6 months. And there was that like more deluxe biker looking thing where he's on there, but it's like the bigger one for like $22. I'll have that.
Look, the fact that you're able to pick up the trio, it's like getting four Turtles.
Same
you want to have
too.
the 3 biker mice.
Well, I've seen lots of junkers that are like missing an arm or a hand and the paint and all that, but he's got them in nice condition, 3 together. So I'm like, yep, I'm having that.
Jump on it. Yeah, and let us know as well, folks. Did you actually have any of these toys? Like, apart from like watching the show or seeing the toys, did you ever actually pick them up? Did you buy any?
Yeah.
Do you have kids? Maybe you're old enough to have kids and they were into it. Who knows? We try to reach all ages and generations here on the Boba Joe Show.
Yeah, it was a quality show and a quality toy line and a kick-ass catalog. Thanks again to Jesse up at Badger over in Colorado.
Will we let the audience know what's on the cards for next week?
Might as well. I don't have an image or anything, but you can shamble away.
You can groan and stagger your way to next week's show. Marvel Zombies.
Yeah. So Marvel Zombies was comic book series. That's all. And they did recently, they did some animated thing too, didn't they? I haven't watched it yet.
It did. It was actually, pretty decent, I have to say. I watched it on Disney.
Is it a follow-up to the What If? Has it got that same animation studio or whatever?
That's right. That's right. And it's 4 episodes, and and it was a pretty tight little.
Was it grimy? Is it like Spawn adult, or do they go younger with it? Do you see guts?
Yeah, you do see guts and blood. It's, I would say, look, people who know me kind of know I'm not the biggest modern Marvel fan, but I did enjoy the Marvel Zombie show. So if anybody's looking to kind of gauge it off that, grumpy old Mark actually enjoyed it. So there you go.
Yeah, I love the original Marvel Zombies. It was by Robert Kirkman, hot off his Walking Dead run at the time, and it sold well. And they did a heap of sequels over the years, like varying degrees. So most of the sequels were quite fun. But I reread them all in the last couple of days. Like, it doesn't take long. They're all kind of like 4-5 issue miniseries. You read like one series about an hour.
I'll be doing something similar. I have them up on the shelf as we speak. I'll be taking them down and
The first one's still the best.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
They actually did a couple of other sequels in the last 2 years, but they're not related. Just the title. They're not related to the old stories at all. They're just like, what if another variation of zombies in the Marvel Universe? So I was a little disappointed. I thought they were going to tie into their ones, but they don't.
Sometimes things are best left as they are, because the longer you try and drag it out. I even remember like that original run, once it got to like the 4th volume, I thought they were kind of reaching, they were really, really kind of reaching to try and extend it. So
volume 4 was Midnight Suns.
Yeah. But we'll be getting into the nitty gritty of it all next week. So I hope to see everybody back.
And the first one had the best artwork for it was horror artwork rather than just superhero artwork. So it really made it more moody and all that. But yeah, we'll get into that next week, man. Thanks for tuning in this week to the show. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, rev up, and roll out.
Take care, folks.
See ya.